Kenya, a vibrant East African nation, is facing tough times. The economy is struggling. People are feeling the pinch. The cost of living is soaring. Basic necessities like food and fuel have become incredibly expensive. Kenyans are finding it hard to make ends meet. This economic hardship is impacting everyone, but young people are hit particularly hard. Unemployment is high, opportunities are scarce. The frustration is palpable. Enter the International Monetary Fund, or IMF. The IMF is an international organization that provides loans to countries facing economic difficulties. Kenya has a long history with the IMF, going back to 1964. In recent years, Kenya has received billions of dollars in loans from the IMF. These loans come with conditions. These conditions often involve austerity measures. Austerity measures are like tightening your belt on a national scale. They often involve cutting government spending and increasing taxes. One of the most controversial conditions of IMF loans is often tax hikes. To meet the IMF's requirements, the Kenyan government has introduced a raft of new taxes and increased existing ones. These tax hikes have touched almost every aspect of Kenyan life, from fuel to food, from mobile money transactions to internet services. Kenyans are feeling the pinch. The cost of living has skyrocketed, making it even harder for ordinary people to survive. Kenya's Gen Z, the generation born into the digital age, is not taking this lying down. They are tech-savvy, connected, and acutely aware of the issues plaguing their nation. They are using their voices and platforms to express their discontent. The #RejectFinanceBill 2024 has become a rallying cry for Kenyan youth. This hashtag encapsulates their opposition to the Finance Bill 2024, a piece of legislation seen as further cementing the IMF's austerity measures. Section 5. Social media amplifies the cry from hashtags to headlines. Social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok have become powerful tools for mobilization. These platforms have transformed the way people communicate, allowing for real-time updates and instant sharing of information. In Kenya, this digital revolution has empowered the youth to voice their concerns and rally for change. Kenyan youth are using these platforms to organize protests, share information, and raise awareness about the impact of the IMF loans and tax hikes. They are leveraging the power of social media to create a unified front, coordinating efforts and ensuring that their message reaches a wide audience. This digital activism has enabled them to bypass traditional media channels, which often overlook or underreport their issues. The #RejectFinanceBill 2024 has garnered millions of impressions, transcending geographical boundaries and reaching international audiences. This viral campaign has not only united Kenyans, but also attracted global solidarity. People from different parts of the world are now aware of the financial challenges faced by Kenyans and are joining the conversation, amplifying the call for justice and economic fairness. The movement has caught the attention of global media, putting pressure on the Kenyan government to address the concerns of its youth. International news outlets are covering the protests extensively, highlighting the resilience and determination of the Kenyan youth. This global spotlight has forced the government to take notice and consider the demands of its citizens, showcasing the undeniable influence of social media in modern activism. Section 6. The weight on ordinary Kenyans. A daily struggle to survive. The impact of the IMF loans and tax hikes is felt most acutely by ordinary Kenyans. For those living on the edge, the rising cost of living is pushing them into further hardship. Stories abound of families skipping meals, unable to afford basic necessities, and struggling to pay for education and healthcare. The situation is dire, and the cries for help are growing louder by the day. Section 7. The government's response. A deafening silence? The Kenyan government's response to the protests has been met with mixed reactions. On one hand, some citizens believe that the government is taking necessary steps to address the economic crisis. They argue that the measures, though harsh, are essential for long-term stability. While acknowledging the economic hardship, the government maintains that the IMF loans and tax hikes are necessary measures to stabilize the economy. Officials claim that these steps will eventually lead to economic growth and improved living conditions for all citizens. They emphasize that the loans are crucial for funding infrastructure projects and social programs. Critics argue that the government is not doing enough to cushion the blow of these measures on the most vulnerable. They highlight the increasing cost of living and the lack of adequate social safety nets. Many feel that the government's actions are disproportionately affecting the poor and marginalized communities. They point to a lack of transparency and accountability in how the loan money is being used. There are concerns about corruption and mismanagement, with some accusing officials of diverting funds for personal gain. The public demands greater oversight and clarity on how the loans are being allocated and spent. The tension between the government's assurances and the public's skepticism continues to grow, leading to ongoing protests and calls for change. Section 8. A generational divide. Different perspectives on the crisis. The IMF loans and tax hikes have also exposed a generational divide in Kenya. While younger Kenyans bear the brunt of the economic hardship, older generations often hold a different perspective. Some older Kenyans view the IMF loans as a necessary evil, a bitter pill to swallow for long-term economic stability. They argue that the youth lack the experience and understanding of past economic crises. Section 9. The future. Uncertain, what lies ahead for Kenya. The future of Kenya's economy hangs in the balance. The outcome of the current crisis will depend on a multitude of factors, including the government's response, the IMF's conditions, and the resilience of the Kenyan people. One thing is certain: the voice of Kenya's youth cannot be ignored. Their activism and engagement will play a crucial role in shaping the country's economic and political landscape for years to come. Section 10. A call for change. The power of youth voice and action. The #Reject Finance Bill. 2024 movement is a testament to the power of youth voice and action. This movement, driven by the energy and determination of young Kenyans, showcases how the younger generation is not just the future, but also the present. They are stepping up to challenge policies that they believe are unjust and detrimental to their economic well-being. It highlights the potential of digital tools for mobilization and advocacy. In an age where information spreads rapidly through social media, these young activists are leveraging platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to organize, share their message, and gather support. Their ability to connect and mobilize large groups of people in a short amount of time is unprecedented. It is a story that extends beyond Kenya, resonating with young people worldwide who are demanding a better future. From climate change protests in Europe to anti-corruption rallies in South America, the youth are rising up. They are united by a common goal: to create a world that is fairer, more sustainable, and more inclusive. It is a call for change, for a more equitable and just world where the voices of the youth are heard and their concerns are addressed. These young activists are not just protesting. They are proposing solutions, engaging in dialogue with policymakers, and striving to make a tangible impact. Their actions remind us that the youth are not just passive recipients of the future, but active architects of it. They are demanding to be heard, and their voices are echoing across the globe, inspiring others to join the movement for a better tomorrow.